Hello guys, welcome back from spring break. We are going to start with chapter 7 today. And then pretty much, obviously we have 3 days for the next 3 weeks. On Tuesday, our first day together, I'm going to, for the most part, try to do a video. And so you're just going to take notes along with me in Notability, just like we would in class. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, you'll do some practice using those notes. Okay, so we're going to start today with adjacent and vertical angles. Okay, so follow along, write these in, and then obviously you can come back to these to do your lessons on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, we're going to say that two angles are adjacent angles when they share a common side and have the same vertex. Okay, so when they share a common side and have the same vertex where the two lines intersect or meet, we're going to call these adjacent angles. Okay, so looking at this diagram over here, we can see that angles 1 and 2 are adjacent. If you look at angle 1, it's right here, change colors. Angle 2 is right here. They share a vertex. And they also share a common side. So those would be adjacent. Okay. If you're looking for more adjacent angles, you could also say that 2 and 3 are adjacent. Okay. 2 and 3 are adjacent. Common side, common vertex. You could also say that 3 and 4 are adjacent. Angle 3 and 4, they share a common side. They share a common vertex. You could also say that 4 and 1 are adjacent. They share a common side. They share a common vertex. Okay, so there's multiple answers there. And then two angles that are not adjacent, we could say angle 1 and 3. Okay, so if you're looking at angle 1, that's up here. Angle 3 is down here. They share a vertex, yes, but they don't share a common side. So those would not be adjacent. Okay, you could also say that 2 and 4 are not adjacent. They share a vertex. They do not share a side. Okay, so adjacent angles, they share a side and they share a vertex. And then the other type of angle we're going to talk about today are the vertical angles. So two angles are vertical angles when they are opposite angles formed by the intersection of two lines. Okay, so they're opposite angles formed by the intersection of two lines. Okay, vertical angles are also, this is important, they are congruent, meaning they have the same measure. Okay, so when we get into talking about the degree of the measure, the degree of the angle, if they're congruent, they have the exact same measure. Okay, so looking at this new diagram, I want to talk about vertical angles opposite, formed by the intersection of two lines. So we can say that 1 and 3, angle 1 and 3 are vertical angles. Okay, they are opposite of each other and they also intersect. So 1 and 3 are vertical angles. Another set of vertical angles we could say is 2 and 4. So here's angle 2, here's angle 4. They're opposite and they are formed by the intersection of two lines. Okay, opposite, they're also congruent. Okay, all right. Use the figure shown, name a pair of adjacent angles and then also name a pair of vertical angles. There are multiple answers here. Okay, so let's talk about adjacent angles first. Remember, adjacent angles, they share a side and a vertex. Okay, so I'll do a few, and then obviously there are more as well. We're going to use this little sign meaning angle. Angle A, B, F, and angle F, B, E are adjacent. If I go and highlight them over here, A, B, F, it's adjacent to F, B, and E. So those two share a common side. They share a vertex. Okay, here's another one. We could say angle FBE is adjacent to angle EBD. Let me erase this. Use my highlighter again. FBE. Okay, it's adjacent to EBD. Again, they share a side, they share a vertex. Okay, yes, there are more than one answer here. Vertical angles. Okay, so vertical, remember that they are opposite angles formed by the intersection of two lines. Okay, so if we're looking at vertical angles, we could say angle ABF and angle CBD are vertical. ABF, CBD, okay? So those are opposite. Those angles would be congruent on the inside as well. Okay. Another one, we could say angle ABC and angle FBD are also vertical. ABC, FBD are also vertical. And again, those angles are congruent. Okay. Okay, so now that we know the difference between adjacent and vertical, we're going to be able to identify them by just looking at the angles. And then also we're going to write an equation and find x to solve for a variable. Okay, we should already know how to solve these. This is always just, combining your like terms and solving for a variable like we've done all year long. Okay, so looking at number 1, we're supposed to first tell whether the angles are adjacent or vertical. Okay, this one looks a little hard to read. So this is saying this is 70 degrees. This is x degrees. Obviously, we're solving for x. Our first answer, we should know that those are opposite angles. So we're going to say that this is vertical angles. And if this angle is 70, we know that x is also 70 degrees because they are vertical. And vertical angles are always congruent. Okay. Number 2, if I look at these angles, they share a common side. They share a vertex. So these angles must be adjacent. Okay, so now we're going to solve for that x, okay? You should notice that this is a right angle, so the two measures are going to equal 90 degrees because we see that right degree angle in there. So we're going to set these up. One angle is 31 degrees plus the x plus 4 needs to equal 90 since it's a right angle. Okay, so we can go ahead and solve this. We honestly don't really need these parentheses. We're not distributing anything. 31 plus x plus 4. Again, combine those like terms. Okay, so I have 31 plus 4, which is 35. So something plus 35 is 90. Okay, We're going to solve just like we always do. We're going to undo addition or do the inverse operation and subtract 35 from both sides. Show your cancellation. 90 minus 35 is 55 degrees. Okay. We're actually not quite done. I'm going to cut this, make it a little bit smaller. Okay, we're gonna now put that 55 right in there for x. So 55 plus 4 is 59 degrees. Okay. And then if we want to check if this angle is 59 degrees and this angle is 31 degrees, 59 plus 31 is 90. So it does check out. So that x is 55. The angle is 59 degrees. Okay, so there is a difference there. X is 55 and then the angle is 59. Okay. Looking at number 3. This angle shares a common side. It shares a vertex. So we're going to say that this is adjacent. Okay, what do we know about this straight line? They must equal 180 degrees. So this angle plus this angle needs to equal 180 degrees since it's a straight line. Okay, so I'm going to do x plus 85 needs to equal 180. I'm going to subtract 85 from both sides to get that variable by itself. So we get 95 degrees. Okay. So up here is 95 degrees, x is 95 degrees. And to double check that, you need to do 95 plus the 85. And that should give us our straight line 180, and it does. Okay. Number 4, obviously our x is right here. This angle is 90. Okay. I'm obviously solving for x. They do not share a common side. They share a common vertex, so these are vertical. And x is obviously 90 degrees. It's that right angle. Opposite angles are congruent. Number 5. So here's an angle. Here's an angle. They share a side. They share a common vertex, so this must be adjacent angles. Again, it is a right angle, so they need to add up to 90 degrees. This one in here, if you can't see it, is 69 degrees. This one says 2x minus 1. Okay, we're going to put these together just like we did above. We're going to say 2x minus 1 plus the 69 equals 90, that right angle. Okay, you can do this in a couple different ways. I'm just going to get the 69 out of here, subtract it from both sides first, leaving me with my 2x minus 1. So I'm going to get 21. And then I'll do the inverse here, add 1 to both sides to get 22. That says 2 times something, do the inverse and divide. X is 11 degrees. Okay, so x is 11 degrees. I would not settle for that. I would make sure. Okay, so let me cut this. Scooch it out of here a little bit. Let's throw in 11 for x. 2 times 11 minus 1 is 22 minus 1 is 21. So this angle is 21 degrees, and this angle is 69 degrees. 69 plus 21, 6, 7, 8, 9. Check. It works. It makes sense. So x is 11. The angle is 21. Okay. I do realize that there's one more on here, but in order to begin to practice drawing these, we have to have a protractor, which I'm going to assume that most of us do not have a protractor at home. If you would like to practice with those, go for it, but we are not going to do those today, nor on our assignments, okay? So go ahead and fill in your notes, and then tomorrow and Thursday we will be practicing.